Hi, welcome to the Pole Shift News, the home of the Mathstar Observatory. Guys, got some great things coming up in this video. Just to give you a little teaser, we're going to have a look at where we're going to be sending 2 more magnetometers, because we've managed to locate some of those rare chips that are becoming even rarer for our magnetometers. But we've managed to secure at least 6 of them for now, and there's another 5 on order. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but as always guys, I want to thank those people that are supporting our little observatory, which is growing and growing and growing. Only the other day I said we'd passed 25,000 subscribers. We're now at 25,250 subscribers. Can you believe it, guys? But it's good, because what's happening is we're getting the word out to a lot of people now, and our observatory is growing and growing and growing, and we're already international, but we're soon hopefully going to be putting some magnetometers in some new locations, so we'll get on with that in a bit. But again, big thank you to all those people that are supporting us. So let's get into it. So if you've been following our observatory for the last few months on at least YouTube, you'll know that we sent out magnetometers to M1, M2, M3, M4 and 5 and 6. I'll just tell you briefly, we've got JD over in South California on M1, we've got Brad in Kentucky on M2, over on M3 we've got Ricky. Now I've sent him this magnetometer a few weeks ago now, and I've emailed him a couple of times. I've not had a reply from that, but somebody told me not to panic yet, because the post in India is absolutely terrible. So you know, we're hoping that it has arrived in Punjab in India, and hopefully, you know, we'll be getting some data from that location. So I haven't given up yet on that one. Over on M4 we've got Tony in Hong Kong. M5 we've got Jeff, sorry, on the east coast, sorry, on the west coast in Perth, and we have Richard, who I'm always sorry for saying this, Richard, calling you Peter for some reason. I don't know why, but we've got Peter over there who's waiting for his magnetometer to arrive so we can get the data coming back online with that. However, we're going to start putting out another 2 magnetometers. Now I'm thinking of getting one in Brazil and one in South Africa, and the reasons why we want that is so that we can keep an eye on the South Atlantic anomaly, which is this area here in blue, which is the lowest intensity of magnetism on our planet right now. The reason why we've got M1, M2, M3, M4 and 5 and 6 is because we want to keep an eye on those poles with the highest intensity, and maybe at some point we'll put a magnetometer down somewhere there in the Falkland Islands as well, just to keep, you know, like a triangulation if you want on that low intensity region. But as one weakens and one becomes more stronger, it's going to affect all these poles, and shortly, I would say within about 6 months of having data, we'll be able to look back and we'll be able to see how these poles are moving and, you know, the effects that they're having on each other. So, you know, interesting times coming up, guys. We're not shrinking by any means, we're growing, and we're putting more magnetometers out there, and the only reason we can do that is largely to one of our subscribers who's been searching for these magnetometers, managed to locate 5 of them. I managed to locate one in Germany, which is the exact same ones that he's managed to locate. They weren't the exact magnetometers, but the actual layout, and they do carry the HMC magnetometer chips on board, so they, even though they were different manufacturers, they are by all and all the same magnetometers. And I'll just show you a few results off the new chips that we've got, and they're working absolutely fine. They marry up perfect with our program, and you know, it's give us the ability now to put a couple more magnetometers out, like I say, hopefully in Brazil. So if you're in Brazil and you want to join our global station now of collecting magnetometer data, then give me a shout. If you're in South Africa, then give me a shout. And maybe if you're in the Falklands as well, and you want to, you know, join as well, give me a shout, and we'll see what we can do to send out a couple of magnetometers to those locations, and, you know, increase our data coverage on, you know, the magnetism of our planet right now and how it's changing. So before I move on, I just want to say a great big thank you to Scott over in Arizona, who took his time out and searched down and located these 5 magnetometer chips that we've now got, as well as the one that I managed to locate. And the reason why I brought one and not the 5 that was on sale is because I wanted to be careful. I mean, I have got these magnetometers now accumulating because, you know, I've made the purchase, brought magnetometers, and then found out later on that even though they look similar, they don't work with our program for some reason. Even trying to change the address in the library programs didn't work for us. So at least now we have got you know, an amount of magnetometers. We've got some backups. So what I need to do is, you know, just build up a few more of these magnetometers like you've seen, and you will see later on in this video when I get the organic camera out, and you know, we can get them out to the locations. But we have already 2 that we can probably send out right now to Brazil or South Africa. We just need, you know, like we have already, a couple of good people to step forward and say, you know what, understand what you're doing, we like it and we want to be part of it, and you will be very welcome if you live in Brazil or South Africa to do so. Just drop me your details or some form, some method that I can contact you on, and we can take it from there, maybe on Skype or something. So big thanks to Scott and all the people that have been supporting the channel with some, you know, donations. You know, without that, none of this would be possible. We wouldn't have the observatory in, you know, a global position right now, and you know, like I say, we are expanding it even more as the months go on. I'm going to rig up the organic camera now, and we're going to give you a quick rundown on how things are progressing with the you know, the cloud generator that we've got. We've had a few more components delivered, so let's get into that. I just want to quickly show you the difference between the 2 magnetometers. These are the new ones. This was the original ones we were using. I've just borrowed this one out of Richard's magnetometer for now. It has got a magnetometer on board, which I might just leave that one in, means it's there. It's just got to be glued down onto the board. But yeah, the difference was very slight, and it was a worry for me that we weren't going to get these ones working, but apparently they work very fine. I can show you a bit later on in the video the readout that we got off this magnetometer, and just to test it while it's on board the magnetometer, I just like to turn the magnetometers around a little bit. It just gives us an indication that, you know, if the readings start to change, that the magnetometer is doing exactly what it's supposed to. So yeah, so we've got 2 magnetometers which we're going to load up with the new chips that we've got. We've got some spare chips for other magnetometers to go in different locations now. I'm going to order another 5 of these so that we've got plenty of backups, and yeah, that's as far as we are with the magnetometers. So if you are in Brazil or South Africa or maybe even the Falklands and you want to join you know, our observatory with just collecting some data and sending it back to me over the internet, then, you know, drop me a link in the comment section below. So where are we then, guys, with the cloud generator? Well, you've probably seen our huge cooling system that we've now got delivered. What it is a radiator with 3 like CPU but large fans over the back on the front of them, and then we've got our 2 water pumps. Now I'm hoping that just that radiator alone will keep those peltiers here cool enough, but failing that, I might buy another radiator system so we can have one at the front of the unit and one at the back, and hopefully, you know, with sharing a pump each on each radiator. And as you know, there's 2 water blocks joined together here, although the actual blocks are not joined together, they're just clamped together or soldered. But I might run an independent radiator per block in order to keep it cold, and if that fails, then we're going to put another peltier array, so 6 more peltiers on top of this. And the idea of that is the water will take the heat away from the top of the peltiers, or the actual bottom of these peltiers, sorry, and you know, the peltier on the top will go even cooler as a result. We was going to use, if you remember, me recycling the Ferrero Rocher tub as a little tank, but it doesn't really fit. And the last thing I want to do, if we're going to all this trouble, you know, to cool these peltiers down, is, you know, stick a smaller viewing screen than what the actual peltiers are. I think, you know, if we can get one the exact same size, then that will be great. So there's a couple more things to do. We've got to get some piping, which we're waiting for to be delivered. And also, guys, this radiator system, if you just look here, you'll see that they've got threaded ports, and they didn't send the pipe connectors, and that's probably because you get various different thread types. I know that this one is G1.25 inch, which I've now ordered, and it looks like it could be a couple of weeks away before we get that, but hopefully before that we'll have the piping. With a bit of luck it might come before. I hope it does, because as soon as we get the threaded inserts for the pipe connectors and we get the flexible pipe, we can then you know, fill the system up with water, we can connect the peltiers up, and we can do a test with the digital thermometer, you know, the laser thermometer I've got, and we can see how low the temperatures are going. And remember, I'm aiming for, you know, between 45 and minus 50 degrees. If we can get that, we're in business, guys. We'll have a great cloud generator that we can flick on with a, you know, a switch, as opposed to, you know, getting one of those filters that connect to a CO2 bowl and you know, waiting for it to make a block of dry ice for us. So, you know, hopefully this will be at the flick of the switch, it will be instant, and we'll be able to see cosmic radiation going through. Now, you might remember we have to use isopropyl alcohol in this to get the cloud to get the alcohol to vaporize in the bottom. We need those sub-zero temperatures. And what's the other thing we've got to do is just an array of LEDs around the bottom of the viewing chamber. That's just to highlight those vapor trails as the cosmic radiation passes through. So we're not far off, guys. We just need a few more components and we can put all this together and finish it. In an ideal world, you know, if resources were freely available, I would have a 3D printing machine building a case for all this. And I know that 2 of the subscribers was going to come together and get that 3D printer for us, but I haven't heard of one of them for a while now, so I'm not sure what's going on. But there you go. In an ideal world, I would like to build a proper casing for this, so it looked like, as opposed to being built by hand, it had been brought. I'm not sure you can even buy cloud generators, and if you could, I'm presuming that they would be in the tens of thousands of pounds in any case, you know, for a reasonable one. But you know, we can make it as best we can here. But the main thing is, it's not really what it looks like, it's how it performs. And you know, we're always on a budget here, guys, but we always manage to, you know, bring some pretty remarkable results with the budgets that we have. I mean, we're not NASA, but yet we've got a global magnetometer station now, collecting data from lots of countries: the United States, Australia, Hong Kong, hopefully soon India, and then Brazil and South Africa, as well as the Falkland Islands. So, you know, we're really doing great with the small amount of budgets that we get. Now guys, I really want you to pay attention here and pay attention to what I'm saying and showing you. We're looking at the space environment overview, which is an old one, but nevertheless shows us exactly what we need to see here. So on the top of the chart here, and I hope the mouse cursor is in sync with what I'm saying, we can see the solar cycles. This is the beginning of solar cycle 24, then we've got before that 23, solar cycle 22, and solar cycle 21. And this is important, guys. If you look at the trough here, when the sunspots was low after solar cycle 21, you can see that we had a moderate increase in cosmic radiation. Then at the end of solar cycle 22, you can see that that moderate amount of cosmic radiation is slowly increasing. But at the end of solar cycle 23, the pattern is more clearer than anything else. And it's important, because what I'm about to tell you is that this isn't showing you how much cosmic radiation is inbound in our atmosphere and on the surface of our Earth right now, because we can't see the end of solar cycle 24 on this environment overview. If we could, we would see a massive increase in cosmic radiation. And that's one of the reasons why we're building the cloud chamber, because we want to see these things and probably study the cosmic radiation a little and just find out just how much we have got actually inbound on the surface of this Earth. And like I mentioned in the video the other day, I'm looking for a muon detector, which is a good thing for us to calculate how much sort of radiation we're getting inbound as a result of cosmic rays coming through our atmosphere. Because as you know, when they come through our atmosphere at high speed and they hit another particle, they break down into smaller particles, and what we're left with is a residue on the surface of muons, and that's what we want to find out if it's on the increase. So I'll be looking for a detector of muons over the next couple of weeks, and we'll look at how quickly we can put that together. And I can probably also include that in these magnetometers that are going out to perhaps Brazil, because after all, Brazil and South Africa will be in the zones where the lowest intensity is. So I want to just measure how much muon activity we're getting in them regions where the Earth's magnetic field is at its weakest. But here's the big thing, guys. I told you, there's not really much we can do with results to, how much cosmic radiation we have inbound, and as a result, the extra muons on the surface. And we do get cosmic radiation here on the surface, and it's likely to be increasing because of the low solar activity right now, and we being in the bottom of solar cycle 24's trough. So there's a lot more radiation than what you're seeing there that was at the end of solar cycle 23. You could probably double it again, looking at the way it's been increasing over the previous 3 solar cycles. But what can you do? The only thing I could say, guys, is perhaps think about increasing your input of antioxidants. And antioxidants are found in lots of foods, naturally, tea, coffee. I won't mention a real bad habit, but again, you get antioxidants from that. Smoking. Okay, we'll edit that out a bit later. But increasing the antioxidants will slow any damaged deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, and that will give you the benefit of a little bit more time for your cell to repair itself should it come into contact with that. I don't think antioxidants, although that I'm aware of, are going to benefit you from if you are unfortunate to be a sufferer from the increase in cosmic radiation with regards to the cardiac arrhythmic problems that cosmic radiations cause. It may do, I don't know that. Perhaps it's another area for us to look into, but what I can say is that during the Apollo missions, and this is why I really started to look into some of the properties of antioxidants and how we benefit from them. And I know that during those Apollo missions, the astronauts was actually taking extra antioxidants, I think in capsule form. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was in capsule form, because they was leaving the Earth's magnetic protective field on their mission to the moon. Now, I know some of you will argue, did they ever go to the moon? But that's irrelevant, guys. The fact is that if money was spent on the missions and the safety of the crew on their way to the moon, then they knew that this would be one of the risks that they would have. And I do remember that some of the astronauts on the Apollo missions at occasions would see like white strikes in their retinas. Their viewing would be of sometimes white strikes, and that would be cosmic radiation, I believe, going through the retina of their eye. So, all as I'm saying is that at the moment there is no other protection other than what they give those astronauts, and it is widely available. So, and also adding to that, we have a massive increase in cosmic radiation right now, and it's only going to get worse as we get closer to that 4 to 7 year point where the poles go into their weak field lines and that transition takes place, that pole reversal takes place. We don't know the condition of the sun yet with regards to the grand solar minimum. We can see from this chart and others I've showed you that there is a trend. The sunspots for the last 3 solar cycles been declining, and we're not sure whether we're in solar cycle 25, although some people have come out and said we are. But you know, if you look at the disk of the sun, you know, it's been void of sunspots for pretty much all this year, and as a result of that, there will be more radiation inbound. There will be also more radiation inbound because we've got a weakened magnetosphere. So we know that Cancer's on the increase. It's not been directly linked to cosmic radiation, though it is likely that that is the case, and there is something that you can do about it. You can take more antioxidants as a result. Put it this way, it shouldn't harm you. It's probably more harmful for you not to take antioxidants as a result. But you know, if you are concerned about, you know, antioxidant increase is going to affect your you know, your body in any way, you know, you should really check with a medical physician before you do so. I'm not giving medical advice out here. I'm just saying that, you know, I know from some of the research that I've conducted that antioxidants do slow cellular reproduction down, and as a result of that, you get to give yourself a bit more time to repair those cells, and if they do repair, then you won't get cancers. And that's not saying that you will, guys. Again, I've got to be very careful, as you can imagine. You know, and the last thing I do is try and frighten people. Well, first of all, you know, I'm not selling antioxidants to anyone. I haven't got that facility, you know, to do that, and I probably wouldn't do that in any case, because, you know, you've probably got some good products already at your homes right now with antioxidants in. You know, you've got to do a little bit of research, guys, on it and find out which ones are, you know, probably more beneficial to you. But what I will say is I do find very interesting an antioxidant supplier in terms of seeds, and that being chia seeds. You might have heard of them. You can make all sorts of drinks out of these chia seeds, but there's something also unique about chia seeds which fascinates me, and that's the amount of electrical conductiveness it has when you put chia seeds in water. And just do it, guys, and you'll see a cell form around the chia seed of water. It's like it captures a gel of you know, H2O around the seed, so it's got a very strong electrical property as far as chemistry is concerned. And I was definitely going to do more research on those chia seeds, and I also know that they are a natural antioxidant. So my partner's been taking them for months and months and months, so you know, that might be a, you know, a port of call for your research. So chia seeds is a good one. They're cheap and they're healthy, especially if you're dieting. You know, they are like a bulker. You know, and you can have a, you know, a shake of these chia seeds. My partner mixes them with soya milk, so I know it isn't affecting her, let's put it that way, in any negative way, and it's helping her you know, lose weight. So you know, you might want to look into that, guys. I know that some of you ladies out there are gonna, your ears are gonna ping up, and you're gonna want to look a little bit more into that for your diet. So you know, just putting that out there. But antioxidants are one of the things you can take during this period of time where we're having more cosmic radiation. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. I will, as always, mention the links down here where you can support our observatory and the work that we do. And you know, we're trying to help, guys. That's all we're trying to do. And you know, the only way we can do that is by keep ourselves being funded. And you know, we don't look to corporations, as I've said many times. We are publicly funded from like-minded people all around this world, and if we can continue doing that, we can offer a lot more in what we do with regards to this you know, anomaly that is taking place right now. And remember, it is one of probably the most rarest anomalies that has ever taken place, and certainly there is no recorded history of a pole reversal, so we don't quite know what to expect, but we are definitely moving closer to that period of time when the poles are going to reverse. So guys, the links are down there if you want to support us. There's the Patreon, and if that's not for you, there's the PayPal link. It's simple as that. It's not mandatory, it's entirely up to you. So you know, if you want to support what we do, if you think there's worth in what we do, then the links are down there, and I completely, as well as a lot of other people, massively appreciate it. So as always, guys, you enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch up with you at some point. As always, bye for now.